Hey guys, it's Girl Got Game. Welcome back to Hakuoki Kyoto Wins, and this time we are going to be pursuing a Mr. Heisuke Toto. And I've been very interested in doing his route because he's a very different person partway through the game, and I want to know if we can get any more insight into that. And also, I think he's the closest to Chizuru in age, so that should be kind of interesting. We're going to be spending time with a new crowd, so we might get some new stuff, which would be also nice. So I'm going to start at the first choice again. I'm going to attempt to explain my situation because I think Heisuke shows up, and I think there's an option to explain that I'm not a boy, which is more in line with those three. Because they're like, huh, you know, when you look really closely, she isn't a girl. I mean, she isn't a guy after all. So we're going to do this. I'm going to tell them the truth. So now they're here. Alright, time to make my choice. So I'm not going to give up. I'm going to decide to tell them that I wasn't a boy. Oh, and there he is. I can put my mouse away now. Thank you, mouse. As Saito turned to go, I rounded on Toto to glare at him furiously. Saito's like, I already knew this. Hey, what's up with you? Earlier you said a man should know when to accept his fate. You don't think there's anything wrong with killing a man before hearing him out? You ought to watch your mouth. Don't you get what's going on here? Maybe you should start acting like a man, okay? Accept your fate. We must do our duty. But I'm not a man. I am no man. Shock. He's like... processing. Yeah, right. You telling me you're a girl? Yes. Gong! And he passed out. Wait a minute!
Wait. So you're saying... what? Well, I can't say I'm surprised. There is something a bit ladylike about your profile. How the hell were we supposed to know that? Girls aren't supposed to wear pants.
Well, excuse you, they're comfy.
Girls may wear pants when training with swords.
Thank you, Saito.
Although it is rare to dress like a man when traveling alone, but perhaps it's for protection.
Really? That was like the good thing for Heisuke only in this situation. Interesting. I see. I guess you have a point. Sorry about that. Well, I'm glad that was cleared up.
Perhaps you do have a point. We ought to at least hear you out.
Judging by the calmness in Saito's demeanor, it seemed he was unsurprised by my attempt to dress like a boy. He's a smart bean. Nothing phases him too much. There I was, surrounded once again by the leaders of the Shinsengumi.
I noticed you were rather slim, and your features were far too soft to be a man's, but to think you were a lady this whole time.
Kondo was nodding his head repeatedly, as if he were agreeing with a very intelligent suggestion. For him to notice the softness of my features, it flattered me a bit. Once you know she's a girl, she really doesn't look like a boy at all, does she?
So we bound her and left her for the whole night. Oh dear. Well, she claims to be a girl, but it's not like we have any actual proof, right?
Proof?
Proof? Really? Not obvious enough for you, huh? Alright, will you feel better if I strip her down? No! You absolutely will not! To suggest such a thing is preposterous! I just figured it was the quickest way to settle the question. But I won't force it. Well, if you really are a girl, then killing you would just feel kind of wrong.
Why are you so naive? It doesn't matter. If we have to kill her, she dies.
Exactly. However, her gender is irrelevant. Killing in general is wrong. We were organized to protect the citizens of Kyoto. We would ill serve the public good by murdering civilians in cold blood.
Yeah. But if this girl or boy is a threat to the peace, that's a horse of a different color. The Shinsengumi had already suffered a very gruesome reputation in Kyoto. If rumors spread that their men were thirsty for blood, things weren't likely to go well for them. Kyoto would banish them, and with no one to protect the people, the city would erupt into chaos. Each of their members deeply understood the consequences of behaving rashly in these times. My apologies, but I took the liberty of checking through your belongings. It would appear you came all the way from Edo. By yourself. You didn't seem to have much. Some clothing, some pocket change, a few letters, and this sword. One of the letters was from Ryojin Matsumoto, a shogunate-approved doctor. I assume you saw him. What is your purpose, Chizuru Yukimura? The minute my name was spoken, the vibe in the room shifted immensely. Everyone wore a stunned expression, eyes wide, and no words were uttered in response, until... Wait, Hijikata. That name. Hey now, this can't be a coincidence. Now wait a moment. We only need to determine if you are a threat. Will you tell us your side of the story? At Kondo's behest, I stood up to speak. My name is Chizuru Yukimura. Under the watchful eyes of the leaders, I sharply described how I came to face them. How I lived in Edo. How I'd come to Kyoto to find my father. How lonely the city felt before I arrived. Oh, then you're from Edo as well. And you came all the way to Kyoto to find your father? So, who is your father? My father is Kodo Yukimura. So the dots are connected. What are you talking about? The handwriting within the letter does indeed match Kodo's, but... To think you were Dr. Kodo's daughter. You know my father? The silence was enough to tell me that the revelation of my parentage caused a pronounced change in their behavior. So, you've been withholding information from us. Huh? What information are you talking about? There's no point in lying to us now. Out with it! What the hell are you doing in Kyoto? I just came to look for my father. I swear, I don't know anything else. You came to this city fully aware of what your father Kodo is doing? I was only aware of my father being in Kyoto for his medical work, but I haven't seen him since last summer. That's all I know. Hijikata, it may be better for us not to press, because she may not know anything after all. So, what do you know about my father? Where is he right now? Please, tell me. The Shinsengumi is currently attempting to determine the whereabouts of Dr. Kodo Yukimura. You're after my father? So this means... Oh no, you've got us all wrong. We're not after him. I see. A huge wave of relief came over me. He's a fellow supporter of the Shogun, but... Well, he sort of disappeared a little while ago. There's a reasonable chance that the enemies of the Shogun have identified him as a threat. I let out an audible gasp, but Saito continued without paying me any mind. There is, of course, the chance he's still alive. Doctors skilled in Western medicine are quite rare. I wasn't sure what else to do, so I nodded. My heart pounded in my chest, threatening to burst onto the floor. Kondo, what do you make of her situation? Would it be in our interest to help her, seeing as we are all looking for the same person? What exactly do you mean, help her? I only mean to say we should cooperate with her until we find Kodo. With her assistance, I'm sure our chances of locating Kodo will increase drastically. Huh? Looking for him may prove fruitless, however. If he's in disguise, spotting him will be difficult. You are his daughter, however. You ought to recognize him no matter how he may have disguised himself, yes? Yes, of course. I nodded as I spoke, while giving him what I hoped seemed like a steady, reassuring smile.
Besides, having her stay with us regardless can be of use to our headquarters. What do you say, Toshi? Sanan is making a lot of sense. If it turns out that she doesn't know anything after all, then...
It's true! All I know is that my father headed to Kyoto, but I don't know anything else. And about last night, I didn't see anything.
Well, if she is his daughter, we can't really kill her, can we?
His eyes narrowed as he looked down at me.
If you promise to keep last night a secret, we'll let you stay until your father is found. Fair? I promise that the Shinsengumi will do whatever they can to help you find Dr. Kodo.
Thank you so much. I'd never imagined something like this. I was elated to have escaped death, but not only had I survived, but I'd found my first decent lead. You must be glad we won't be killing you, huh? Well, won't be killing you just yet, at any rate. He gave me that same wolfish grin that I love. There was no denying that my situation was still less than desirable, but it didn't matter for now. Yes, I'm very glad. Against all odds, at last, I'd found help where I'd never have expected it, the Shinsengumi. My first day in Kyoto was quite the adventure. In spite of everything I'd seen, my fortune was improving with every step. I still had a long way to go, but keeping positive was my only hope.
Aren't you relieved, Yukimura? It's a pleasure to have you.
Yes, thank you. It's a pleasure for me as well.
Hey again, with her being a lady after all, I'm not sure that our all-male household is equipped for her needs. You bring up a good point. What would you have me do?
Kondo crossed his arms and thought deeply.
Should you require anything, you need only ask. We will do what we can to accommodate you.
Thank you.
Well, I guess we'll have to be nicer to you now that we know you're a girl.
Gee, didn't take long for you to change your tune when you saw she was a girl, eh, Shin?
Whatever. Having a lady here at headquarters is sure gonna brighten things up, won't it?
I wasn't entirely sure I believed that sentiment.
I'm not sure if our headquarters are, up to standards for a lady, however. But then again, she's not a soldier, so we cannot expect to treat her as such. Then make her a page or something. Want an assistant, Kondo? How about you, Sanan?
Oh, come on now, Hijikata. It's your idea, so you can't just pawn her off on someone else.
Ah, excellent. We can entrust Toshi with her. Well, there you have it, Hijikata. I hope you'll take good care of her. You sons of bitches! You can't just decide!
As I watched their back and forth, some of my earlier relief began to ebb away. And this is how the Shinsengumi had come to look after me. Alright, we're back in the thick of it again. Time to spend time with a new crowd. Mid-February 1864. I slid the door open and met a breath of cool morning air. Clumps of thick clouds trundled silently over the city, an unusually strong wind driving them along. It's cold today. I shivered a bit and grabbed a jacket from near the door to wrap around myself. A week had passed since I'd begun living in the headquarters of the Shinsengumi. I was given a room of my own, but they made it clear that I wasn't to roam freely. They weren't the best accommodations, but given how close I was to being murdered by them, instead I thought it best not to complain. Still, do I really need to dress like this all the time? I stared at my feet on the cold floor. They'd given me temporary accommodations, but it wasn't without its strict conditions.
The Shinsengumi will look after you, but we do not allow women to simply wander our doors. The Shinsengumi keeping a woman here. If such rumors were to spread, tongues would begin to wag. Even worse, it may invite guests who are also searching for Kyoto to come here looking for you. It is still up to speculation, however, whether or not he has been taken or attacked. So many unanswered questions hovering about, all the more reason to keep recklessness at a low. In other words, you need to keep this facade as a man. Do I make myself clear?
Clear. His reasoning was sound. Perhaps more than that, I knew he was concerned not only for the Shinsengumi, but also for the safety of my father and myself. I didn't have a choice regardless, but keeping this in mind made his orders more palatable.
I don't expect this to be an issue, but having a woman around could disrupt morale, so to speak. For that reason, only we, the Shinsengumi's leadership, will know the truth of your situation. It is imperative for us to keep this under wraps, for there is no telling what becomes of rumors.
I understand the situation. So, what should I do while I'm here?
Nothing. You're gonna get a room and you're gonna stay in it.
Really? I could have sworn we decided she was going to be someone's page.
Soji? Keep your tongue in your mouth or I'll cut the fucking thing off.
Before long, I'd been there for a week. I guess I don't have much of a choice. No sense in dwelling on what I can't do, after all. Although it was still a new sensation, I'd grown comfortable in dressing like a boy, particularly the feeling of wearing pants. Shin. I straightened up and touched the kodachi that Hijikata had given back to me. This was a familiar friend of mine, the blade by my hip stretching back to as far as I can recall. According to my father, this was an important heirloom passed down through the Yukimura clan. As such, I was forced to take lessons in swordplay, making me well aware of what the blade was capable of. I had never cared much for weapons. Weapons hurt people, which is an obvious factor, but it was more than that, at least for me. For as far back as I could remember, any wounds I suffered healed at an incredible rate. Small cuts would disappear overnight. As a child, I thought nothing of it, but as I grew older, I began to realize that I was not quite normal. My father insisted it was a gift of the gods, but that I should tell no one of it. I didn't tell anyone, of course. I was afraid they would treat me like a monster if they knew. Ever since then, I'd done my best not to get hurt. I stayed as far away from blades as I could, and before I realized it, I developed a fear of them. My constant need for disguise was frustrating, but my condition left me more unsettled. Still, that wasn't the only thing on my mind. The rank-and-file soldiers treated me coldly. I'm not just imagining it, right? I learned having a private room was a privilege, even for captains. For a child to arrive and receive better treatment than their own captains? No surprise, really, for the soldiers to hate me. True, I suppose I can't really blame them. I was enjoying the Shinsengumi's hospitality, and so I felt I should help them in some way, but I knew nothing of soldiers and their ways. I gave as much effort as possible, despite Hijikata's commands for me to remain in my room. How does one calm the lonely, restless mind? I think for the soldiers, whenever the captains or other officers would look out for me, it appeared as if they were giving me special treatment. They're just watching me. To make sure I kept my mouth shut, they took turns keeping watch over me. Any mistake on my part would cause huge trouble, so they were making an effort to keep me contained. Even if I could speak with the soldiers, what conversations could we share? Nothing? My only respite from any possibility of detection would be to stay alone. Again. All I wanted from this, though, was to find my father. Even though they'd promised to help me, keeping me locked here without the ability to leave was no better than being tied up. Just when it felt like I'd made some progress into my journey, my search was kept to a halt. Perhaps I thought I could talk to Hijikata, if he would give me permission to look for my father. Oh, no, that's right. Hijikata just recently departed to Osaka. Well, if Hijikata's not here, I wasn't sure what to do. Well, I know the top 2 options don't put me anywhere near Heisuke, so we'll try searching the compound. As I thought about it, I realized that I had no idea how the Shinsengumi compound was laid out. If I were to live here, I thought, then I ought to make an effort to learn. I gathered my courage and stepped out of the room. There's no one here. I looked around. The hall was utterly empty. Then again, since I'd snuck out of my room, it was probably for the best that no one had seen me. Still, I felt a little guilty about it. Perhaps I should have just stayed in my room. If I wandered around the compound, it was likely I'd see something I wasn't supposed to. I'd already stumbled onto one of the Shinsengumi secrets the night I met them. I had no wish to do so again. Maybe I should reconsider. After some deliberation, I decided it was best to return to my room, but as I turned to walk back... Huh? From near the entrance, I heard... something. Slowly, I peeked around the corner. Walking toward the door, looking as if they would prefer not to be seen, were Harada and Nagakura. Oh.
What?
Can I come with you? Maybe if they let me go outside, I could finally start looking for my father. Please take me!
Well, I don't really care, but I don't think you're gonna have a lot of fun. Hey! No, you idiot, we can't take her. You don't have right to anyway. Huh? Oh, right. We aren't supposed to let you out of the house, huh? Wait. Are you even allowed to leave your room without an escort?
I was really hoping you wouldn't ask that. Well, where are you going, anyway?
No changing the subject. Oh, well, whatever. We're on our way to Shimabara if you really want to know.
Shimabara? The name was familiar. Wait, isn't that in the red light district? Scandalous. An area in which many geisha houses, brothels, and restaurants are located. Nagakura shook his head between us and sighed.
Oh. Come on, what are you doing? Telling a girl the truth about us going to Shimabara? You know me. I can't lie. Besides, it's not like we're up to no good or something. Not you, maybe. You're just coming to drink.
Nagakura, are, you going for something other than the alcohol? That look! Oh man, we're already getting into trouble with these guys.
Well, I mean, yes, there's alcohol, but, you know, girls pour drinks for you.
True, there was likely no shortage of beautiful women throughout Shimabara. Someone like Harada, who visited just for the drinks, was a rarity, if I were to guess. But you're going in the afternoon?
Isn't that every man's dream? To drink while the light and life of the day is young.
Harada held a natural charm that seemed to shrug off any judgment over possible impropriety. Well, even so, I hardly think it's good to be drinking in the afternoon. Even if it was every man's dream, it didn't feel right to condone it. Two captains drinking during the afternoon would hardly help the Shinsengumi's low public opinion. Then again, perhaps it wasn't my business to think of the Shinsengumi's public reputation.
Yeah, I see your point. It's not really proper to be screwing around so early in the day.
Yes.
Kyoto's been really dangerous lately, though. We're not free to roam at night like normal people.
Aw, he looks so sad. True.
So to hell with how appropriate it is. A man's gotta live! We're gonna party whenever we feel like it.
That didn't really seem right. But even so, on some level, his absurd logic made some sense. After all, everyone needs to relax from time to time, especially if they have the worries of the Shinsengumi. And if they worked at night, then when else would they go but the afternoon? Well, look who it is. I was reflecting upon this very important subject when Toto walked in.
Oh, Chizuru? Are you coming too?
Well, I still haven't received permission to leave the house. I don't want Hijikata to get mad at me.
I see. That sucks.
You're going to Shimabara too, then, Toto?
Well, yeah. Look, Chizuru. You don't have to call me Toto, okay? It just feels kinda cold, you know?
Well, what should I call you then?
Just call me Heisuke. Everybody else does. After all, we're gonna be seeing each other a lot.
Oh, more than you know.
And let's cool it with these uptight titles. We're practically the same age, so you can relax.
Really? I just didn't want to be rude, Toto.
See? You're doing it again.
Alright then, Heisuke. Aw, our first blush from this boy.
Right, you got it! So, what do you say we start over? Hello, Chizuru, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Okay, it's a pleasure to meet you too, Heisuke. It wasn't anything important, I knew, but something about the exchange made me feel happy. It's very precious. Heisuke had, perhaps unknowingly, cheered me up. But you're still going to Shimabara then? I was hoping to distract you.
I mean, well, I'm not going there for the girls. I just want to hang out with the guys, you know.
Oh.
Well, maybe if you dressed up like a real woman, it'd be enough eye candy to keep us out of trouble.
What?
Yeah, hell yeah. You'd be real cute. Once stuff settles down, you ought to start dressing like a girl again.
Thank you? You guys, this is just so sudden. It was embarrassing for them to treat me like a girl all of a sudden, as if it just occurred to them. Dress like a girl? What should I tell them? Aw, Heisuke thinks I'd be cute, so sure. When I get the chance someday, I will dress like a pretty flower. Maybe. Not sure of what else to do, I nodded awkwardly and they beamed back at me. When I get the chance someday. Sound good? Oh, sounds very good to Heisuke.
Really? All right! That's a promise, Chizuru. Don't forget it.
Okay. I didn't need Heisuke's advice on how I should dress, considering it was something I looked forward to once I got the opportunity. So why did I feel so embarrassed? Because he thinks you're cute. Oh, hello. Once we settled the topic of the appropriateness of my wardrobe, Nagakura shared his opinion.
Look, Chizuru, you've got to see our side here. We dedicate every day of our lives to keep Kyoto safe.
That's not a very convincing excuse. Despite my reservations, I understood the truth. They were partaking in the normal activities for menfolk. Besides, who was I to try and stop them in the first place? I certainly had no authority over them. While visiting pleasure quarters in broad daylight wasn't my thing, if their superiors took no issue. I was a guest of the Shinsengumi, and it would be rude for me to try and tell them what to do. But even so, they went out of their way to talk to me until I felt better about the situation. This showed they were good men, with nothing to hide. Alright. I suppose their reasoning made sense to me, and part of me was just envious of them. I too wanted to be free of the staleness in this compound, and search for my father.
I'll bring you back something. What sort of food do you like?
Even though I was still turning the issue at hand in my head, the thought of food made me salivate. Aw, Harada, that's so kind. Alright then, I'd like some tangerines. Maybe we can eat them together tomorrow afternoon?
Oh, that sounds good. See you then.
Soon as Hijikata gives you permission to go out, we'll take you wherever you want to go.
Well, thank you. But Heisuke, you don't need to worry, alright? Even if you couldn't take me out now, it's the thought that counts. Thanks for cheering me up.
Thanks. So we'll be off now.
Just as I waved to send those three off, I got in trouble. Oh, hi, Inoue.
And just where do you think you're going?
All of us nonchalantly turned our heads around to see Inoue pacing towards us.
Oh, damn it. It just had to begin, huh? Yikes, we're in for it now.
They all refused to make eye contact and fell silent, so I responded to Inoue in their stead. Well, I'm not going anywhere, but, I had no idea what else to say. Were they expecting me to cover for them? I'm already in trouble.
Well, you know, Gen, right? We were going to go train. That's all.
Heisuke quickly warmed to his excuse, as did Nagakura.
Yeah, exactly. Like Heisuke said. I mean, it's such a nice day out, the breeze is warm.
Yes, what they said. After hearing their excuse, Inoue reacted.
My goodness, you're all so diligent. We train together so rarely these days. Might I join you?
Clever, clever Gen. He looked honestly happy, pleased with the dedication of his fellows. So close to beautiful women and drinks. And I'm not gonna get any tangerines. Aw, man.
Well... Aw, crap.
Seeing as they were hopeless in getting themselves out of this, I decided to lend a hand. You guys are really going to go train? Just then, Heisuke opened his mouth.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I wanted to train with you all, but I just remembered I had plans for today.
Plans?
See, I already promised Chizuru that I'd give her a tour of our headquarters. Right?
It was news to me.
Come on, please, go along with me.
He gave me a desperate, somber look with eyes like a sad puppy. I had no choice but to go along. Yes, that's right. Yes.
Right? Totally!
His eyes sparkled and he grabbed a hold of my hand and began to walk off. I'm loving this so much already. Heisuke had cheered me up earlier, after all. Perhaps in this way I was returning the favor, and you are out of your room now.
Hold on there, Heisuke. You really think you can...
Oh, hi. Before he could even finish, Harada interrupted, a mischievous grin appearing on his face. I don't like the looks of that.
I'd better come too, Chizuru. Make sure none of the guys give you any trouble.
Well, I suppose you have a point.
I see, I see. Well, Harada does have a point. I'll leave her in your care, then. Alright, Shinpachi, shall we go?
Poor Shin.
I expected this from Heisuke, but you, Sano? I thought you were better than that!
His knuckles turned white, and his face shook with exasperation. Well, I like how we are already conspirators, and this is great.
Time to go!
What?
Shin's got a bit of a short temper.
Ah. Run! Heisuke grabbed my hand, and Harada pushed me from behind, and soon we were moving away from the entrance at a rapid clip.
You rat bastards! Come back here!
Nagakura's shouts were echoing, but the laughter of the two men caused their eyes to sparkle in kind. It was infectious, and I couldn't help but laugh with them, my worries gradually drifting from me. After the commotion settled, Heisuke and Harada gave me a tour around the headquarters. Nakakura, alternatively, had none such luck. I heard later that he and Inoue spent the rest of the day training, just the two of them. At the end of the day, I think he's a good man.